In the previous episode of this long-neglected Honda Dream 150, we worked to revive the bike and make it run after at least a few decades slumber. After unseizing the engine and sorting some things in the fuel and electrical departments, we were able to get the bike to light off, and it sounded great. Well, in this episode, the goal is to make this bike rideable and take it to go get some ice cream, but as you'll see, we were in store for a fight, so sit back and watch the little Bentley that couldn't battle two idiots who wouldn't let it die. Well, as Seth showed, this thing is really jacked up. So the internal bracing, or webbing, I should say, is actually broken off. So the nut that was in it, that's used to extract it, I still threaded a bolt in there and tried to use an extractor or try to use a slide hammer, and it's just pulled the threads now at this point. So what I want to do, because this has a steel insert, I took a bolt, machined the head down. So that is going to fit in there really tight. I'm getting ready to use the TIG and weld it to the inside sleeve of this cover, and then I'll have a nut to go on here, and then we'll just extract it. So it's going to come out. We're not asking anymore. So that is what we gonna do. Stacking dimes. Yeah, I know. I can definitely tell it smelled the O-ring, which is good. It might have been the smell. Huh. Oh, it actually was worse than your 350.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa. Well, it's been a few days with this thing. We were waiting on parts because, as you see, we removed this section here, and it is absolutely the worst I've seen. We thought it couldn't get any worse than your 350, and we were absolutely wrong.
It did, in fact, get worse.
Much worse. So we were fighting it because this guy actually broke. I don't know when the last time it was removed, but it's been a while. So this is what it should look like. So we've got a replacement one of those, and also the cover. So the center section here, this is where it kind of feeds some oil pressure and stuff. The one that came off the bike, no bueno. So luckily I found these on eBay through NOS Parts Now. So NOS Parts Now, they actually bought a lot of my NOS stock that I had bought before. So it was cool getting to buy back from them. But quick shipping and just nice to work with. So I definitely recommend you guys go check out their website. They have a lot of just literally NOS parts. So you'll find a lot of what you need, hopefully. But yeah, we're gonna start the excavation process right now. What was that?
My Honda OEM extractor tool.
Do we need to write the part number on it?
Yeah, it's like 20498 or, something like that.
Call 800 dig right.
Yeah. Might be some fiber or underground primary in here.
Oh.
Wow.
It kind of looks like steak seasoning, to be honest.
Yeah, you can go ahead and try it if you want. Steak sounds good, actually.
Well, we had steak the other night.
Yeah, we did.
I don't know when this video will go up, but the steak we didn't exactly deserve after the CB750 attempted revival.
No, we deserved it for our effort.
We did fight.
Yeah.
We tried, guys.
You just got to sweep out the oil filter real quick. Part of your standard oil change procedure.
And in other news, we have some tires and, of course, tubes for the Bentley. So soon enough, we will have this thing up and riding. We definitely need to go do an ice cream run on this thing to make it official, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're done asking. We should make this like an air freshener scent.
Burning aluminum and debris.
Yeah, it used to be oil. Maybe we can call this bike crude.
Crude?
Like crude oil.
It's basically turning back into a dinosaur.
Unrefined.
It's cause I'm crude and unrefined.
It's because I'm crude and unrefined. Tin foil on fire. That stuff burns?
Apparently.
Let's pull some air out of this place.
You want a fan?
No big deal. I made this connection though. The oil separator proved to be impossible to remove as we used heat, leverage, and even an expansion plug to try to pry the thing off for a proper cleaning. Without a new side cover gasket, we didn't want to pull the cover to get behind the separator, so to move things forward we simply had to clean it the best we could and get it back together with the new parts shown earlier. Now even though this bike has its issues, it's been nice to have it in the shop as it just makes you smile. We've been itching to work on it so we can go for a ride as we hear so many stories from so many individuals about these or the larger 305cc bikes. These were some of the early machines that put Honda on the map in the US and had a big impact on the industry. It seems everyone had some sort of memory with these, so we wanted to see what they were all about. As we love reviving old machines, this is the perfect subject for our practice. You know, it's got to be perfectly balanced for the high speeds.
Yeah, it's a race bike.
It's got a 160 swap, man. This ain't no 150.
You're right, you're right.
This is a race bike.
PJ, did you know you could reuse zip ties?
You can reuse zip ties?
You can reuse zip ties.
You can reuse zip ties. What? When were you guys going to tell us?
It'll never get old.
Well, wait a minute. If we take like 15 minutes and then like really mar these things up, trying to get them undone,
And they come right on.
we can reuse them. Let's see, I think a lot of the comments said use a little blade or pick. You know, let's see. Okay, we're in that one. How many have you done in the time that I've done this one? I'm still doing this one.
3. So worth it though.
Oh man, this has got a double zip tie.
Yeah, they all do.
Shit. Okay, that was a big mistake.
How's reusing those
Oh
zip
boy,
ties
that
going?
was so much faster. All right, here's the bearing out of the Bentley.
It's like sandpaper.
It's worse than sandpaper. And then which one did you have that was like?
Either one.
Oh, that, yeah.
We'll run it.
Nice.
She might be due for some bearings, eh?
working on getting fuel from the tank to the carburetors on the Bentley here. So this is the original fuel tap. It is slightly mangled from getting it out. These studs were just stuck in the tank. We worked a miracle and got a broken stud out of there. But the way I'm going to go about getting fuel to the engine is by throwing that away. So we use that as a template. We're making an aluminum plate here, so we have the same bolt pattern. I use that as a drill guide. And then of course we've already got a hole in the center from the hole saw that I used to cut this out. Toss this on the lathe, squared it up, and now over here on the TIG, and we're gonna just kind of fill this entire area right here with weld, and then that'll just kind of give me more meat to actually tap, because I actually have a 1/4 NPT fuel petcock to thread straight into that, and it'll be in the stock location. So that's gonna be how we go about this. The Bentley is together. Look at this. We got new tires. I'm officially adding fuel. That's a good looking bike. So we do not know if this thing has forward gears yet, or if the clutch is stuck, so yeah. Go for gears. The shifter is like that interference.
Like I can't get it to engage at all.
Okay.
It's like it's not even moving the shaft on the star.
Okay.
It runs though. It runs real good. Decided to get into this side cover because we have no shifting, sadly. Theory is that maybe the return spring down here for the shaft is not allowing the shaft to remain in position and turn the cam, or the shift star is just so worn out that it's not engaging or stuck. Hopefully it's something we can address though. I did go ahead and drain the oil, and yeah, it's pretty grungy. That's after like maybe 5 minutes of running, so it's a Honda, it likes it. But anyway, let's see what this guy has in store. Got the Kickstarter off, which that's a whole interesting affair. I don't know if that is the seal, or if it has an internal seal as well, or if it's kind of a bushing, but I thought it was interesting that, let me show you guys here. It's not a splined shaft, it's smooth. So starter clamps on there, and then there's like a set screw that puts it into place. But I'm gonna do my best to weasel these pegs out of here and see where that gets us. Come on. Yeah, gotcha. Just put that right there. And now we can begin, hopefully not stripping out all of these very corroded, disgusting fasteners.
A few moments later.
Pretty curious to see how this goes next, because I am going to try a new toy. This is my induction heater, and through some kind of electrical wizardry and coils and magnets, it generates a magnetic field that superheats whatever fastener that is not wanting to unfasten. So let's see, because these in particular were pretty stubborn. They didn't want to unseat from the case. So let's see how it does here. I don't know if I'll be able to get enough of it over the head of the bolt to actually do much, but we'll give it a shot. Something's getting pretty toasty. Ooh, yeah, we're getting heat in it now. It's actually starting to glow just a little bit. It's probably more than enough. Oh, like butter. Cool. I am very happy with that. That is a game-changing tool right there. Cool. And that should be the last one. I don't know what the chances are of the gasket coming off clean. Yeah, definitely won't. Hey. Let's see what we have. Oh my. Wow, that's horrible. Ugh. No. Poor little Bentley. She was running on dirt, grime, and dreams. That was, get it? Dream. Anyway. Well, it's a good thing we're doing this anyway, because that is probably the worst oil I've ever seen. But the real reason we're here is to see what's going on with this shifter.
Spicy?
Ugh, it burns.
Wait, what's behind those?
Nothing. Oh man, that was a good one. Right in my retina.
Doing a little brake clean rebuild action here. So
Does it rebuild my eyeballs too?
it gives them a fresh mating surface. Go flush your eyes.
It's like draining my sinuses. It's rebuilt.
Brand new. B. It's a Barnett.
Barnett? Yeah, it's performance clutch right there.
Like I'm not gonna fight that.
Oh, Lord have mercy. It'll run. How far do you think we would have gotten if it did shift?
We would have gotten into gear, and then it would have went back.
Bearing doesn't sound horrible.
Yeah, it feels good. Playing a little game called I Win right now. There was no way this thing was going to come off without pulling this covers. We got to get behind it. It's so seized up. I win.
Ready?
Yes. Gap is bigger. Very obviously hot.
Many unbearable hours later.
Victory.
At least on one of them. She's a little beat up, but you know what? That's what it took.
That was insane.
Just barely. Okay. So in case you guys didn't know, you can see that this is on an eccentric. So as the crank goes around, that makes this go up and down and create the pumping action. This would build oil pressure. Which I keep jokingly saying this thing is probably not seen since 1966 or something. Now, our component in question is this guy right here. So I will demonstrate. So as you press down, it rotates this and pushes this arm forward. It has these two teeth on it. And those catch pins on your actual cam here. So you can see we're not reaching full travel in either direction. So this guy, obviously it's rusted, is just hitting this shift cam and it's stopped. So we're gonna have to crack this thing loose, which we're not gonna feel too good about, but we gotta do it. So in the spirit of this bike, just, you know, keeping it going, keeping it running, man. Doing what it takes. Whoever had this before didn't have a whole ton of resources and they kept it going. And I think that's so cool. Yummy. So this little roller right here, the actual pivot right here, the shaft is wore out. That's why it has slack in this roller. So what that means, it might be hard to shift up or down, which, you know, that's to be expected. You gotta really put your foot in it. I think I'm gonna put a little heat on this and then just put some pliers on it and see if we can get it cracked loose. Ooh. I bet none of you saw that coming. What's our best angle here? I don't know how else to grab it right this second, so we're just gonna kind of get a little preliminary force on it. All right, I've been putting penetrating oil on this thing and had a lot of heat on it. I just gave it one little tap and it moved in, which is good. So it moved. And that moved out. All right. Back in. Being pretty gentle on it. Okay. Let's see if we have rotation. That is much more than we had. Right. And the bike has a chain on it right now, so it's not gonna really want to jump in gear, because that would mean it has to rotate the back. That just locked into a gear. Yep, neutral's right there. All right, super happy right now. We didn't break anything. We had to really take our time on this one, but yeah, we have the shift cam free. This thing can go back together. Seth's actually working on the clutch right now. I don't have any of the parts in front of me, but they look brand new out of the vapor hone. So we do have to clean up the clutch discs and just kind of go ahead and get this thing together. So I should probably get this thing off the ground and then go ahead and cycle the transmission and see how it does. But yeah, I think we'll be fine. Well, as you can see by the sun flare there, it's like 5:30 right now. We're trying to get this thing together. So getting everything cleaned up back here, getting everything lubricated and just injecting oil straight into the bearings since we had so much like cleaning chemical and stuff. I have all of the holes blown out and I'm ready to kind of put this thing back together. I just took the Dremel to it to smooth out that surface. As far as the some other stuff going on, I went ahead and just made a little mesh strainer for the oil pump. It's not pretty, but it should work better than nothing. Got some fresh gaskets over here. Seth just got done cutting this side cover gasket. Right now he's giving himself a manicure. Sanding clutch discs.
And my finger.
Ow.
Working myself to the bone.
To the bone. So this thing is about ready to start going back together. I'm going to throw the oil pump on along with the clutch basket like right now.
It's always a steel plate first, right?
Yeah, it goes steel, 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 and then friction, 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 friction.
Yeah, yeah.
You want to make sure you have metal on metal contact.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the race bikes do it.
Ah, that makes sense.
I'll be your helper.
Thank you.
Friction,
Friction.
steel,
Steel.
steel,
Steel.
friction.
And friction. Cool.
Works like perfect. All right, gasket me. Nailed it.
Of the windowing act.
Okay. And now the big test. See if this thing freaking works. Hey, it killed it, which is a good sign. That is a happy Seth, let me tell you.
Ripper, dude.
She has forward motion.
Awesome.
Hey, let me ride it.
Alright, you can ride it.
I'm like dying. Now, although getting this thing running and riding to the point of going around the parking lot is a little bit of a victory and it did feel good, we did uncover a couple more issues. Now, the transmission, I had to unseize it, so naturally it was just getting kind of bound up a little bit, making it difficult to go from gear to gear. but also we were having a big running issue on what seemed like the left cylinder with popping back out of the intake, what seemed like maybe blow-by or something, valve seal. So at this point we decided to bring it back inside, do a compression check, and start digging in a little bit further. Okay, we're having some running issues as expected with this thing, so we're gonna do a compression check real quick. It's warmed up, and this is gonna be a left cylinder. So wide open and go for it. Okay, so we fear that this thing has maybe a lot of blow-by. We can see the pulse is coming back out of the intake, which is not good. So put a shot of oil in this thing, and we're going to do the same test again. Squirt of oil. One-third. We got 120?
Almost 115.
Okay. Well, it has been a couple weeks since the last clips that you guys have seen, and if it's not obvious by now, we have been battling this bike in this episode. So we've got to be victorious somehow, and victorious is us going to get ice cream on this thing. That's the official test. So it's been a couple weeks, as I mentioned. We have some parts. It is now Wednesday, and we're going to try to do a full-blown engine rebuild on this thing in the next 24 hours, something like that. It's not going to be the best engine rebuild, but we have got a big problem with blow-by on cylinder number 1, and it's just keeping us from reaching our goals. So we're going to go ahead and rip this thing apart. We will very likely just do a dingle ball hone on the cylinders, or stone hone, whatever tool we have that fits it the best. I'm going to go through the transmission. We'll make sure this thing shifts. We're going to slap it back together, and we're going to go get some ice cream on it. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Sounds good. All right. Let's get to it. First update, we're trying to pull the engine out. It's been 25 minutes. So we popped the breather cover, or the head cover off, or valve cover, whatever you want to call it. And this thing hasn't seen oil since Nam. So that cam lobe is a little shorter than that cam lobe. Not good. Okay, well, we're pushing forward right now. We're gonna get this thing out. The camshaft is trashed, but we've got a welder and a grinder
And some gumption.
So, yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, I got this side.
Yep.
Why'd we ever think this?
That was so easy. All right.
All right, this thing is pretty terrible. It's not really going to pick up on camera, but that cam lobe is blue. This one, left the chat long ago. There's fragments everywhere. So, as you saw earlier in this video, the oil separator cleaner thingy was concrete. So, seriously, this thing has probably never had an oil change or proper oil filtration since 1975 at the best. We're gonna do our best to fix that. We will be riding this to Dairy Queen. Just saying. As we continue to work on this bike, we also continue to uncover some of its own story and the stories of its past caretaker. So many things were incorrect, were broken, were misadjusted, or were simply gone. Now you can look at this in one of two ways. You may think, this person should never be allowed to work on a motorcycle, how dare they? Or, you can look at it in a positive light, like me. In my opinion, this bike is an excellent example of resourcefulness and perseverance in that they fixed whatever broke and kept it going using what they had. Sure, I would have preferred they didn't try to jump the fountains at Caesar's Palace and break the engine case, but it was probably a pretty sweet jump, and hopefully they got the girl in the end. Regardless though, they fixed it the best they could and kept going. In case you forgot, this bike also had a CB160 engine swapped into its frame sometime in the past for reasons unknown. To accomplish this, they cut a bit of the frame and made some less than ideal speed holes in the swing arm trying to secure the exhaust. They even had to weld the kickstart shaft back together and come up with some way to attach the shifter they also broke off. Whatever the issue, they made it work, and for that we applaud them, whoever they are. In my opinion, the spirit of this bike is to use what you have to keep it going. When possible, repair, not replace. And lastly, have fun. That's what we like to do here at the shop, so it fits right in, and we will continue to keep its spirit alive. All right, well, we can't get this shifter off. They have done repairs to it in the past, and so it seems like they broke the shifter, and then somewhere in here is, I'm thinking like right there is like a rosette weld. There's been roll pins and bolts through here. So like the shift shaft on this side and the shifter are separate, but cannot get it apart. So I'm gonna try grinding this down and seeing what we find. Yeah, so right here, there's a circle that's just silicon bronze. I think that's the rosette. That's there. So I'm just gonna try to cut through that. That was it.
Something pop.
Yeah, came loose. Maybe we can at least get that off. Now what you want to do is get all of the brass shavings in the actual engine.
Lubricates it better.
Shoot, can't be any worse of lubrication than it has.
This is true.
I'm still not sure if this is the right way. How does one get the cam out? Okay. Apparently these have a master link.
Who'd have thunk?
We've never worked on one of these. It's okay. We don't know these things, but we're learning. We're not afraid to jump in and figure it out. And anyway, here we go. That is a part. Oh no!
Where was your safety wire?
Pretty awesome, right? That's not anti-seize. That's just steel.
Those are speed channels.
Oh. Yeah, if you can see down in here, see if you can see where the cam has eaten the cylinder head. Looking good.
You know,
Those really, they don't look bad at all.
Bad.
I mean, Those look okay.
I've run worse.
Well, we got to take it apart anyway. All the bolts are out. Time to split these cases. I definitely worry about hitting it right there.
Yeah, I'm trying to go.
There used to be some aluminum right in that area. Did you order some sludge?
All the sludge.
Okay, we got the input shaft of the transmission out, and it really didn't look bad. There's like one worn dog on it, but doggone it. But this one really doesn't look bad either. So go ahead and get that thing out. I really think it's just the shift cam.
And then Bertha.
Now, I was a little bit of a dingus, and I removed the bearing retainer for the needle roller one, and it kind of blew apart.
Kind of.
Kind of. Maybe. Okay, we're pretty much disassembled, and the whole reason we did this was to get to this. So it just... Oh yeah, this is our problem, right there. Just doesn't move that freely. Oof. And that shift fork is pretty roached too. There's like a wear spot on it over there. It's pretty thin. Oh. Yeah. We're gonna get to work. Well, we're back on the table here, and we have the cylinder cleaned up. We still need to actually hone this thing. Unfortunately, disassembling the head, we found a burnt valve on the intake side of the left cylinder, which is probably why we had quite a bit of blow-by. And by blow-by, I mean we just pushing past the valve. So you can see it right there, pretty roached. So we're actually looking at replacing the head. Unfortunately, I can't seem to find shift forks in the area that I can get today. So I'm gonna try to fix these things now. You can see this one is just pretty roached. It's eaten into the sides there. This one is not so bad. It still has the ears on the end. It did start to get into some material there, but just barely. And then this gear right here, it's got some material kind of built up in that channel, so I might chuck this in the lathe and try to clean that out. But what I'm thinking, these are just steel. I'm going to try to just build this area up with some TIG. I'll try to build that area up a little bit, then I can put these in the lathe and actually cut them square. And we'll get them whittled down so they fit perfectly within the actual gear themselves, and I think that'll be a decent fix. I would love to replace these. It's just not in the cards today. Okay, I went ahead and I gave this thing a little bit of heat across the entire shift fork. I really don't know how it's going to go, but we're going to go for it. Might be as good as we get. Unlike Destiny's Child, we want scrubs.
All the scrubs.
Okay, here's where I'm at with this. You see I've got the shift fork mounted up here, and I've been working on getting that side cleaned up, and this is the small side that needs a repair. So I still have to clean up that area, but I'm thinking this is going to work well. My only issue is that these shift forks, you can see here, there's a machined side, and then there's a cast side that doesn't have a machining. So trying to chuck it up in the lathe on this side, there's no square mark, so it's hard to get it lined up. This side's easy, it's no problem. So one thing I did here is I just lightly faced the cast side and then chamfered the inside edge just like it would have been from the factory. But that way I can flip this thing around and know that it's square to at least this cut. So I don't want to take off material, but that's what we're doing. That's looking pretty good.
Cool.
Okay, this is the first check I've done of the gear, and oh man, it's the perfect width, the perfect thickness. So I'm gonna clean up the insides with deburr it and stuff, but that is looking really good. All right, we have one last step before this thing can go together, and that is heat treating or trying to harden the shift forks here. Now I'm really worried that these things would just gaw up if I didn't do this, so this is not going to be the most professional way. I'm just trying to work with what I have. So what we're going to do, heat this up until it's cherry red. I'm only going to kind of do the ends here. And then we are going to dunk it in some canola oil because that's what I can find. The longer you read up on what to use for this exact scenario, the more confusing it gets. I know you guys are already in the comments, you're gonna be like, you shouldn't use canola oil, you should use this, you should use that. I already tried to find that. I already tried to find all of those. This is what we got, okay? We're just gonna do it. All right, so the mission here is to try to heat this evenly until they're red hot. Now there is a powder called Cherry Red, and that is a commonly used one, I guess, or more relatively easy to find. I don't know how you want to put it, but it's a carbonizing powder. And what you want to do is heat this up, put a carbonizing powder on it, and then dunk it, and that's the heat treatment. Alright, here we go. Ooh, actually smells pretty good though.
Funnel cake.
You know what? It does smell like funnel cake. And again. Now, I actually have a friend of mine who has specialized his whole life in heat treatment. He is an expert on this, so I'm curious, John, if you're watching this, what I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong. Almost there.
Almost there. Stay on target. Right behind me. Almost there.
All right. Just conveniently have a file here, so the test is if we drag a file across it, does it grab? Now there's a lot of science involved in this. There's a lot of hardness levels and stuff like that. This is on a 60-year-old motorcycle we're just trying to take to Dairy Queen. 'Cause 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 'c think it's better than it was. Who knows if it's not gonna be perfect. Okay, I think I got it. So I did a 2-stage type thing on this. I got this one red hot again, dunked it in the canola oil, and without even cleaning it off, I put it back under the torch after it was cool. And then that seemed to have like a lot of what I would call carbon on the end. Got all flaky and stuff, got it red hot again, and then I just dunked it in water. And now it seems like it's a lot harder. So cross your fingers, guys. I'm gonna do that again for this one, and we'll go ahead and put the bike together. Now, of course, knowing that we needed to replace these parts, I went on my local marketplace and I found somebody who actually had what I needed. And I got in contact with him, drove down there, and I picked up a head and cam from them. But while there, of course, he was another enthusiast, so he had some pretty cool stuff. So here are 2 of his machines, one of which is really rare.
A couple have shown up on eBay.
And again, this thing has never been started.
No.
That is so cool. So, this thing definitely threw a chain a while ago. Let's see which way to go here. Still a little bit of material missing.
1 eternity later.
And approximately 1 million test fits later, we have this patch panel. So, probably gonna work on digging a little bit of a trench here, and then we'll just start trying to fill her with weld. So we've got most of the case welded up, and what I'm doing here is I'm making another standoff for the foot peg mount because it doesn't exist. So getting ready to tap this for an M8 125, and then we'll turn it down and then we'll weld it onto the case, and we're gonna put this thing back together. All right, I got my work area cleaned up here. I have my bracketry kind of tweaked how it needs to be. So what I'm gonna do now is bolt down the foot peg, and then we're gonna use this as a, basically like a jig. All right, I am absolutely done. I'm gonna say mentally on this case. I am so tired of welding on it. It doesn't look the best. I would challenge any of you guys watching to do a better job. This is maddening. But yeah, it is much more structurally sound because it's actually attached now. So I'm going to call it good, and we're gonna start assembling this engine. All right, it is time to we got to get this thing together. So one of the last steps here, besides assembling the engine, is to re-hone the cylinders. Now, I don't have any dingle ball hones that will fit this, so what we have today is a good old stone hone. Now its minimum diameter it can expand to is probably just slightly smaller than that hole right there. So it's not going to be the best. So this is going to be a little bit of a challenge. This is making terrible noises. All right, here we go. I'm just going to go for it. A little bit of a ridge up top here still. Oh, I hate the sound. Now we're not going to be able to get rid of that ridge or anything like that, but I just want to try to clean up the best I can. Considering everything else on this engine, I've been telling Seth, we can't expect perfection on this. So, my golly, that is going to be good enough. So we'll get this in the solvent, or actually no, we're not going to do the solvent tank. Seth, you remember how we did this last time?
Dawn dish soap.
Dawn soap in the sink. Yeah, this is pretty terrible. There's definitely lines up and down and stuff. Whatever, guys. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to make it to Dairy Queen. Yeah. You can do this with my eyes closed. This is scary. There's no ridge on top of that one. We're gonna call that good.
Rebuilt.
Rebuilt. Okay. In the bathroom here. You're not gonna be able to see much of this. Now, allegedly, this was used in the kitchen on dishes, so, ooh, that's perfect. Just have warm, soapy water here. See how that's filthy? The mission is to scrub until there's no residue on the rag. Still a lot. Getting pretty much nothing on there. Okay, I think we're good. Rinse this off. And we air dry and start assembly. Okay. Get the transmission in here. Now, I could have one of these forks backwards. We don't know. Going together now. Test fitted, converted. We did that too, but we converted that the shift forks are in the correct position. Now there's a little bit of material on that actual gear that keeps touching the shift fork. I don't like it. There's literally nothing I can do about it. I have tried. So hopefully it'll self-clear.
A good pop.
That was a good positive engagement pop there. Okay, pieces have started going back on.
Much exciting.
Cue the time lapse. Really annoying what?
Puzzle. Like building a ship in a bottle or something.
Oh man, can you imagine doing that?
It feels
I
kinda
guess
like I'm
you
doing
just
that.
you just made the reference, so apparently you can.
Yeah, I could do that, of course. I've done so many of those.
So grease helps keep the valve keepers in place while you assemble the head.
And then you very gently release it so you don't fling the keepers across the room.
Gently.
Gently. And it's done.
Nice.
We got Permatex here.
All right. Take two because of me. We had to get thumbnails, and yeah.
Yeah, you're the reason my arms hurt now. Very gently. And right about now is when we forget something.
Well, we remember that we forgot something.
Yeah. And then we have to reapply all the Permatex, and it's awesome.
'Cause I've never done that.
No, surely not.
That XS400 is engine assembly over there. All right, we got the case halves torqued down. Time to flip this thing over and start working on the top.
Hold that. Ah.
It doesn't look like it's watered up.
It doesn't just sit that low, does it?
No, it's
It can't. You put the starter chain on. Brother.
No, it's no big deal. We'll just zip tie it to one end. I'm like, what are we doing?
Gosh dang it.
That's funny.
Like, how is that physically possible?
I'm like, this is not right. Okay. Okay. Now it's getting tight. Okay. And for this one, we're using a super special oil. Oh wait, it's just Rotella. Yeah. So it's super, super special. Ready to ride?
Ready to ride.
So like first start again?
Yeah, pretty much.
We want to go to Dairy Queen. All right, well, we have a confession to make here. We were wondering why there's no oil to the top end. It's a really good thing that Seth made a point to actually check it before we tried to take off. So it's obviously nighttime. We have not made our Dairy Queen run tonight, but we figured out why it doesn't have oil pressure. So mentally, I went back through all of the work that he and I did, and it seemed all good. So we started checking the side cover here. Now, the one we replaced looked like this. It was so chewed up, but this had this guy and a spring in it. And when we got the new cover, it did not have anything in there. Now, per the parts diagram, which I'll put up right now, it seemed like the things lined up to where it was part of the oil pump circuit and not the side cover. So that was definitely an oversight. But anyway, I was able to put this thing in the lathe, and then I was able to cut the old one out so I didn't risk damaging it. So now we can put this and the spring in this side, put that on, and we're going to make oil pressure. Pressure.
Under pressure.
Dun, 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 dun. You could say it's leaking oil.
Why is it leaking oil, BJ?
I don't know why it's guys, I ordered a full gasket set for this bike, all right? I didn't order a single seal for it. I don't know why. So we're rocking 60-year-old seals, 50-year-old seals, or whatever. And, I think my logic was they weren't leaking before. But why is that?
Because it didn't have oil pressure.
It didn't have oil pressure. We got it running good, though.
You go and do something like this and totally redeem yourself.
All right, well, we are just gonna go for it. It's like 9 o'clock at night. We got the Bentley, got the KLR warming up. So this is gonna be a chase vehicle, and we're just gonna try to make this happen. So it's running well enough to go. Okay, if we see any law enforcement personnel, floor it.
This doesn't have that in its dictionary.
You meet me back at the shop.
Okay.
I'll come looking for you after a few hours.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Look at that thing.
Useless. Oh, there we go. This is such a great idea. Okay. Not bad.
Look at it in the water.
Honestly, really not that bad. Like, it's not running good, but it is running a lot better than it was. She's about maxed out there. Oh, that headlight is so bad. Brakes are kind of okay.
So we've got a weird misfire on this thing, and we swapped the plug leads. We think one plug lead is not doing so hot. And it runs a lot better, so once it starts running really terrible, we'll swap them again and it'll start running better.
Old girl is really not doing half bad. Tune her out a little bit more and this thing will rip pretty good, actually. Wish the speedometer worked. I'm sure I'm breaking all kinds of laws right now. The speed demon this thing is. There you go. All right. Oh, that's it.
Now Dairy Queen is 3.5 miles away, and we're gonna make it there, okay? It may not be a long trip, but we're doing it.
You know, I'm really not sure if this is more or less sketchy than the challenge bikes when we first got going on those. I think that, well, honestly, the challenge bikes probably ran better than this, which is really hard to believe, considering mine consumed, well, this also consumes oil like mine, CL 350 does, but mine was burning well over a quart or two within 10 minutes of use, and I don't think even this is touching that. Giving her all she's got, Captain. Oh, there we go.
Sounds awesome, huh?
I think she's gonna make it.
Riding dirty. Oh, we got a little, maybe a little smoke out of left cylinder. Yeah, a little smoke, ain't bad.
Right. Uh-oh. And there it is. We did it, fellas.
Sweet, sweet, sweet victory.
Never doubted her once.
So you know what we gotta do?
Get ice cream?
We gotta get ice cream and not get, like, you know, pastries or something like last time.
Oh.
We gotta actually get ice cream.
Yeah, that
to make
didn't
this
work out
official.
very well.
Granted, that was a short trip, but it made it.
She did. Oh boy.
It's okay. We brought more Rotella.
It's caramel for our ice cream, actually.
What? We've been here 45 seconds. Oh boy. It is what it is. We're at higher RPM with sustained oil pressure, you know?
I had that
But
in
we're
like
here.
40 years.
Yeah. You think we're kidding about that?
But we did drive some promising guys for the woods, so victory.
Oops.
All right, we're getting ready to ride back home or back to the shop. So, did the ice cream taste better since we rode here on this?
100%. Yeah.
100%. So, We definitely have to do a little bit of work on this and maybe add some new seals to the engine because those ones have obviously checked out.
I think it's fine. I don't know what you're talking about.
This officially uses more oil or consumes more oil than your 350, and the oil filter was more dirty than your 350, which we didn't think was possible.
No, we quite literally said that is not possible.
Yeah, that's what we started the video with. Anyway, we have another runner rider, and that is pretty cool. So we're gonna go ahead and head back to the shop and be back with you in a moment.
Honda stuff.
Not typically.
Well, in our experience, it is.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, turd kind of zooms, honestly. That's cold.
Wow, I have no lights. Woo! You can see the stars. This is nice.
Get the carburetors tuned a little better, get some actual air filters on it. That little thing won't be half bad.
Cone. Oh boy, I can't see anything right now. Oh boy. Darkness imprisoning me. All that I see.
Things fought us so hard. It's really nice to be able to actually get on it and enjoy the thing. Looked like you were having fun on the roundabout.
Yeah, did you see me shooting sparks?
Yeah, you're sparking all the way around it.
Whenever you went, before you shot sparks on this, I think I got it on camera, but, you know, I was like, oh, I gotta do that. Yeah, that was sketchy going up the ramp.
You want to slide out from here?
Just slide around, I was trying to get off.
Well, what do you think our percentage of success was here?
Well, I think it's 100% because we got this thing going and we rode it to go get ice cream and we have succeeded in that.
We did in fact succeed.
We really need an oil sponsorship, so Rotella, again, get with us.
Hit you boys up.
10 seconds.
Let's see. Oh yeah. Supposed to do that.
My floors will never be the same. Well, I think we need to have some more fun with this bike. I don't know when or for what video, but we definitely need to work some bugs out of this thing. You know, get some nice grips on here, work on the clutch and throttle cables, and maybe find a side cover. I'd love to find a patinaed red side cover for that battery. Need to get some seals in this thing and just, I think, ride it.
Yeah, enjoy it for a while. Just experience it in its appropriate amount of glory instead of putting a gallon of Rotella in it every time we ride it.
Yeah. Now, I think this bike would be really cool going to like swap meets and stuff like that. You know, I can't imagine a better little parts rig. It's already got a little rack on the back. And we can maybe make a little trailer hitch for it. That'd be sweet.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. But I don't know how often we go to swap meets. But actually, you know, I say that, but next year going to Barber or something like that, I mean, this would be the ride.
Oh yeah. What if we could like retrofit one of those red radial flyer wagons?
Oh hell yeah! We
Yeah.
can make something like that. Some motor set. Yeah.
That's the vibe right
Yeah,
there.
that's a cool build right there. I don't know. We just don't have like a small little runaround for the shop, and I think this. I mean, here it is. So it was fun. But anyway, I know this is a long video. Hopefully, it was enjoyable for you guys. We just love wrenching on old bikes, you know, and this is just we're just continuing this thing's story, and it's being a part of ours. So again, hope you like this one, and hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.